What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the combat in Hogwarts Legacy. Mainly, I guess, well, the only combat we really know of 100%, unless there's like hand-to-hand stuff, would be the spell casting, right? Using spells and using it on opponents. And I just kind of want to talk about my opinions on it. I know I had opinions immediately. When we saw the state of play. I've seen other people, talk about it. And this isn't talking necessarily about, what spells we're going to use and stuff like that. We can do that in other videos, and I also think other people have done it really well. But I want to talk about the actual mechanics, how it looks, and I'll to not dance around it, I'll come out and say I think it's honestly perfect. I was almost shocked more than anything else, like when you see this game, or when I saw this game, and I guess all of us saw this game at that state of play, right? We've had such a long time after the trailer, the original trailer, and while we do get a little stuff in there, really, I mean, the scope and visually how it looks and how it actually performs, like how you're actually moving around and doing stuff, that really all that stuff was just in our imagination of what it could look like going into a state of play. So when you finally see it, it was mind-blowing. It was one of the greatest moments so far of 2022, and I think one of the moments that sealed it was the combat itself, using, or I guess watching the character use spells. It's like, what? I didn't really know how I envisioned it. When I'm thinking, all right, well, how would battling somebody in this game look? I don't even think I ever actually pictured it in my head. Now, I may not have a good imagination. That could just be the simple answer, but seeing it in front of me for the first time, it's absolutely incredible. I really do think, obviously not having played it, and we'll see how it is when we actually do play it, but it looks phenomenal. Originally, the first thing that went through my head is it looks a little clunky, and that immediately went away once I thought about it a little bit. And by the way, I want to make sure I word this right? I'm not discrediting anybody who says, oh, well, you know what, Alex, I'm not the biggest fan of how it looks in that way, or the gameplay looks a little stiff to me. I think that's totally valid, because I do think it actually does look stiff. I just think it's kind of supposed to. I think it actually works for it. And again, this is all visual. Like, there's no button pressings going on. We see a little bit of how it works, including, I believe, even remember when they did the behind the scenes when they're fighting in like that arena, and the the centaur or whatever comes like flying out of the air. There's a little extended part, or in the beginning, right, where the wand kind of fizzles out, where basically you use the spell, whether it's too fast, or you maybe chain them together wrong, or you pressed it too quick, whatever it could be, and it almost like fizzles out, where he's kind of like waving the wand, and the spell won't work. And it's like, I think that actually helps. Those kind of moments actually help in terms of how I feel it's supposed to go, because it really does feel like when watching it, you're watching the movie. You're watching them actually cast spells. Because if you watch, the Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts movies, there's, and I keep using the word reluctancy, and I don't really know if that's necessarily the word, but there's almost maybe hesitancy is probably the better word, of using a spell. Like, it's almost like they're thinking about it, and you have to like flick your wrist the right way, and there's kind of like emotion to it. Do you know what I mean? There's an action of using a spell. It doesn't just happen. Even like in The Witcher, and I've used The Witcher a lot actually in comparisons for a lot of different elements, like when you're using a spell, it kind of just happens. You know what I mean? You press the button, and if you're shooting the flamethrower out of your hand, you kind of just do it. And I don't think that's wrong, like it's a bad thing. I think that's fine, and it works in the scale of Witcher. But for Harry Potter, or the Wizarding World, or Hogwarts Legacy, I feel like there is a desire to do these spells. There's a purpose behind them. So when you're doing the spell, it does look a little stiff, right? They're thinking about it. They're flicking they're swinging their wand around, and they're doing it in the air, by the way, but they're doing it, and then the spell kind of comes out, and there's like an action of like blocking, and Harry Potter, as we've seen again from the movies too, like when they're blocking spells, they literally, like, you have to aim. Do you know what I mean? Like when the spell comes, you're literally you're blocking it like a sword, or like in Star Wars with sabers, right? Like you're actually blocking it. So there's a kind of like a direct point to all of this stuff. I really think it works really, really well. I was blown away by it. I think it's a little slow. Again, it's a little clunky, but it's not. I don't even know kind of how I want to word it, right? I keep going back to that. I just feel like it works. From again, this is all visually. Like when we play it, maybe it is too slow. Maybe it feels like, okay, well, I get it. Like it takes a little while to do each spell, or even if you're chaining spells, you can't just go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that quick. I mean, like spells don't work that way. So I get you can't do that, but like, do you have to take like 5 minutes to do each spell, right? Like we'll see how it feels. Obviously, the feel is going to be very, very important for a game like this and for gameplay like that. But just in terms of visual, where there is nothing else on screen, we don't see the buttons mapped. We don't even see what buttons they're pressing to do said spells. We don't know how many spells are equipped at any given moment, which again, we've talked about some of those elements in the past, right? We don't know any of that. And maybe we will, as time goes on. I think we should. But, based off of just what we can see, I think it makes sense how everything is moving. I think that it kind of moves with purpose. It moves with a little hesitancy, but I think that's purposeful. I think they're doing that on purpose because that's kind of how it is. It's not supposed to really feel rushed. The bigger thing I would kind of bring up, right, is those smaller details. I think it was kind of like magnified around like Assassin's Creed back in the day, like Assassin's Creed 1, 2, etc., where I hope enemies don't wait for the next enemy to attack. And I get it, like games, it's very difficult for in a game, like all the enemies just go at you all at once. And maybe that's how it would be like in real life, but obviously in even a game like Sifu, which just came out, the enemies basically wait for you. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more to it than that, but they don't all, rush you all at one time. So that's something that's a little bit more niche in terms of like thinking. Like I don't really think many people are focused on that right now, and I kind of am, where that's my biggest thing, where it's like, well, can multiple enemies shoot you at the same time, like shoot a spell at you at the same time? How would you deal with that? Are they going to wait for you? Are you going to just kind of do one-on-one attacks and then go to the next one? That will, that'll be something interesting that I hope we see more of over time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure as always you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, all of my social media, as always, is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next Hogwarts video.